Hey, what's up everybody? It's KyFy. I'm glad you could be here. You know, it's been a minute, but I got a good reading for Cancer today. If you don't know about it, I am a Cancer, so this is going to be a very specific reading for Cancer. So if you're interested, you know, get some popcorn. It's going to be a good one. Alright. So, first line up. Okay. We're going to start getting some cards down already. But as you can see, there is one oracle card here already. When I was doing the pre-shuffle, it just flopped out too fast for me. I was going to put it back, but I just decided to put it there. I guess it was meant to be. I don't know what it is yet, but this came out reverse. 2. So, if you like my content, I'd appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. You know it goes a long way. I'm sure y'all understand how the algorithm works by now, so I don't have to explain much. But first though, when it comes for Cancers, as other signs, as if you've been following me, we have the attributes. So let me get it. First up is, or let me say it this way. Each sign has 5 attributes, and I've deciphered them for all signs. If you take a look, you'll see it. But first up comes, for Cancers, the house, the fuel, the focus, the power, and the tool. So our house is the home, and the home is on a Sephiroth. So what does that mean? What fuels our house is the feeling of being at home, at peace, safe, protected. That's what fuels us. But what makes us feel protected? So we known as the emotional center of everything. You know, they always talk about us when it comes up to emotions, right? But what is it about emotions exactly are we good at? Why can't they stay away from us if they really hate us so much, right? Why they can't stay away? We have a special ability, and we are the natural leaders in clairvoyance, and that's what the ability is. The ability to see the self beyond everything you see. So the reason why we stick with some people is because we see through the shell what they present. Like it's nothing. Like they put up the shell, they put up the clothes, everything is like X-ray. We see who they are and who they could become. So we're more willing than other people to stick with it. But on the other side of it, when it comes up to emotions with the Cancer, when your feelings are at odds with somebody, well, when somebody kind of talks to you in a way where it makes you judge yourself for who you are, that leaves you out of peace. So that's with the home aspect. So let me move on. The next is the fuel, which is the foundation, right? The foundation is also on the Sephiroth, and what does that mean? Is the emotional foundation. So picture it this way. Any emotion that you have, let's say I believe I love myself, right? That's enough of a foundation to hold on to in your mind, so that if anything comes through it, anybody starts talking you down, anybody's you know how it goes, anybody's really messing with you, they won't be able to mess with a part of you that keeps you going. And that's the fact that you love yourself. You're going to do whatever it needs to be done for yourself. So understand that a feeling is the emotional foundation that you build up on in your mind. So the more things that you find that you love about yourself, the more things that you discover about yourself that you take pride in and are willing to die for. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes up to Cancers, we know who we are in the future and in the past. And if you talk about any one of those people, we're going to come after you. And it's like our divine right, because we know who we are. We know where we come from. We know what kind of trials we had to face specifically. And what is it about what is it about the word Cancer that I don't like? I don't like the fact that the world made it a disease. Like, when I first found out that I was a Cancer, I was like, Cancer? Why they gotta be a Cancer for? But why is that? Because you know how, let me get some of these cards down. So this world is set up so that people innately dislike what we have to bring to the table, because it's labeled by such something with it's labeled by such a bad disease and whatever. But let's move on a little bit. I'm gonna get back to that. We got a lot of time. So next up is the focus. The focus is a card, is the major arcana card, the High Priestess, right? So the High Priestess runs from Da'at to Kether. Now, what does that mean? Specifically, this is who you are, meaning like your being, what generates your source. So your soul is the source of who you are. But if that energy is, blocked by somebody talking about you, about who they think you are, and you kind of believe it. You've been hearing it for so long, you almost believe it. And it's like basically siphoning the energy from here and diminishing the power of it. So understand that your power, which is your throat chakra, right, is connected from the High Priestess to who you are. So how you vibrate, what you speak, and what you do, your actions speak louder than anything that ever can be talked to you about. Like any words that anybody can speak over your life, your actions will always speak louder. So you don't have to do much. You don't have to speak much. And that comes in handy when it comes to a Cancer, because why give them anything? If you know, you know, right? But moving on. The power is the Chariot. So the Chariot runs from Geburah to Bina. Now, what does that mean? Bina is the dark, is the archetype of ambition and imagination. So the more you know about yourself, the greater your desire for what you truly came here to be for is. I hope I said that correctly. But that area is governed by the Wheel of Fortune. So we're going to get to that later, but keep going. We'll get to it. The tool, the last but not least, is the tool, and that's movement and connection. So that's our basically natural gift to this world, something that we can do better than anybody else. Every sign has their own thing, but when it comes to the Cancer, movement and connection is the key for us. So what is it about that? We can connect people to their spirit better than anybody else because we read their emotions. We're very empathic, right? We see what's going on behind the shell, behind the layers, so we can understand where a person, you can do two things with this. You can be ignorant or you can be truthful with it. You can lead somebody to the shadows, you can lead them to the light. But depending on what the situation is, what are you going to do with it? So understand that that's movement and connection, right? We can connect them to their spirit or reject them for their spirit. We can deter them from their spirit. There's a lot of things that we can do, but that's the reason why they don't like us. And imagine that. We don't say much, but when we say what we say, it really affects their spirit so much. Like they have no... let me just move on. That's just for Kansas. Alright. So, going over it again is the house, the fuel, the focus, the power, and the tool. And the way I like to portray this, basically describe what this is. The focus and the power is, imagine you have a bow and a string and an arrow. You know what I mean? So when you pull the bow, pull the string, the focus is your left hand on the actual bow and the arc, right? And the power is the strength behind the pull. So you need both of them to actually hit the target. So understand that we all have our tools, but when it comes up to your tool in this world is movement and connection. Your key is with something that you're able to do and something that you could probably make money off of is how can you connect people to themselves deeper than they already know? And how can you make money off of that? It's something that you do innately in yourself, so you got to think about it. So let me get back to this. Let me get some of these cards done and I'll be right back. Alright, so while I get these cards together, what did I just do? Basically, as you all know, this is the Zin-Finity Board. It is going to be known as the Divine Masculine approach to Tarot. Why? Because you see these lines, you see these circles, you see these diagrams. And what do they mean? And I figured it all out, so I presented to you today, again, the Zin-Finity Board. I hope you like it. Again, like and subscribe, and we're going to get to it. So, all the black cards that you see here represent Ein. And if you understand the Tree of Life, if you've been doing your study, you know, or if you would like to know, on the Tree of Life, or well, above it, there's these three, basically, entities, or whichever you want to call it, called Ein, Soph, and Or. So, these black cards represent Ein. These 4 oracle cards represent Soph, or Sophia, whichever you want to call it. And the aura comes later, when we see which cards align. So what does that mean? The black cards are all tagged elementally, and on these spots have a specific suit, and if they don't align, I will turn the card like this, right? And it would show me where I have to deal more cards to align it to the correct suit, right? Now, what do these black cards mean? These black cards are representative of the eyes in your mind. All of the eyes that you can possibly imagine. So anything that you would ever want to do, could have done, had to do, didn't do in the past, it all is basically brought up with this version of I. So we're going to get to these eyes, and I forgot one. So let me get that real quick. That's 2. Alright, so what does the board do to the cards? Now, each spot is basically a role in the play that's going on in your mind during this reading, and each card is going to play a role. So if it doesn't fit the suit, if it's off suit, it is not the right person for the role. So that gives me an indicator of what to talk about and why to talk about it. Even if it's a good card, if it's in the wrong place, it's something good happening or something bad happening for a good reason. You know, it'll tell me which way to go with it. So continuing, let's start off with 0, which is the odds, right? We're going to start off with the black cards first. This is the space of I know. What do you know? Knowledge is power, correct? So your knowledge is, you know, we have to 10 of swords with it. They done tried to break you with what you think you know, right? They didn't try to tell you that you were wrong so many times, but it kept proving itself right in the long term. So what did you know? You actually, this is the part where you have to trust yourself. You feel these things emotionally, but the thing is, do you have enough strength to believe in it? Because you did innately, subconsciously, and it worked out for you in the long run. So you're probably noticing some things right now that are panning out for you. I found $3 today. What? I said, God, I need some money. And I went outside and I found $3 right on the floor. I said, oh, time to do a reading. I ran right back here and here I am, right? So now, let me explain that a little bit more. So this is the area of air, fire, water, and earth. So air and water, right? This spot can be air and water also. Fire and earth. This spot can be fire and earth also. And the same goes for these two opposite the face, right? So the oracle cards don't run the same way, but it does tell me when something is off. You can understand. Let me put it this way. This is a better way to put it. That's why. That's what I forgot. Yeah. So that's what I have for I know. So if somebody's really coming at your knowledge or what they think you know, trying to mislead you, trying to persuade you the other way, you know, the deception that you clearly see, but sometimes you can't really tell, right? If you're feeling that way, just trust yourself a little bit more and be a little bit patient. Now understand that patience takes virtue, but what powers us, because we are the heads of your side, right? Your side is the sacral chakra, right? That's the moon, right? Temperance leads us to fulfilling our heart's purpose, or giving us the space to do what we need. So giving us the space, and we guard our space. That's why you find yourself alone sometimes, because that's the space that you can control. Nobody can really control it unless you allow them in. It's like a sacred space that people really try to get in sometimes. You ever notice that? When you alone, that everybody's just like, oh, let me find out what you're doing. Let's see what's up. What you doing? How you doing? I wonder where you've been. Like, it just keeps going, because we understand now that spirit works through people, and also the negative spirit works through people too. And when they trying to distract you, they'll find any reason, or have any good reason, right, to distract you. And it'd be something so good. The devil loves presenting you with things beautiful that'll distract you. Love it. So keep your eyes open, right? Next up is your essential nature, or what crowns the reading, which is the Page of Swords. Now, this area should be fire, and we're gonna go like this, right? So although the Page of Swords could be a good card, you know, finally taking up your mental, well, you got the Ten of Swords here, which says that you've been through it with your knowledge, right? But who you are was built to battle what people try to put in your mind to mislead you. You were born to fight that. I hope I got that out correctly, but let's leave it because it's offsuit right now. And it's the crown energy. It should be fire, but let's move on. So the Wheel of Fortune was out already, but let's see what the other side of this is. Right? So we have the Seven of Swords. There's a lot of air energy. And this is actually offsuit. And the Wheel of Fortune is fire, right? So yeah, so this is offsuit too. So if these were opposite, you would be on the right track when it comes to your third eye. So you're being logical when you should be emotional, and you're being emotional when you should be logical. That's what that gave me off the bat. And if you switch these things, not only would fortune be heading your way, you would finally be able to put down some of these burdens, right? So yeah, moving on from there. That was the third eye. Now we're gonna go to the finishing of Akasha, right? Akasha is ether. Ether is 3-part. That's Da'at, Gabura, and Chesed. It's complicated, but when you understand the board, when I come out with the app, everybody will understand this completely. It will be so visual and so dynamic and so hands-on. Tarot would never be the same ever again. And it's for all of the readers, not just me. So if you're interested, you know, like and share, donate, and I can get this out as soon as possible. Moving on, we have the Knight of Swords, which is offsuit, and we have the Seven of Wands, which is offsuit. But let me go back real quick. I forgot to do this. This is the area of IB. Now, IB is a little bit different. Are you allowed to be yourself? No, because you have to constantly mentally battle something. It could be a trauma in order to be yourself. You constantly have to put up a front, or at least work on something in order for that source energy to come out of you. You can find that when you were in a state of relaxing, or if you ever had a massage or something like that. If you, like, I like to dance, and I learned recently that black people, right, we don't use regular meditation as meditation. We use dancing as meditation. That was our meditation. So that's crazy, because a lot of us like to dance for no reason, for nothing. We just get next to our friends and just pop dance moves for no reason, because, right? And that's just our expression, our soul expression. I don't want to go too much into it because this is the reading, but that is another form of meditation if you were not aware. So get out and dance, not to go party and drink. Get out to dance the energy out. All right, so the Seven of Wands is also off. You have the Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands. All right, so we're gonna figure this out. This is telling me that your mind is in the wrong place and everything is a little bit backwards right now. And we're gonna figure out what is going to fix everything. And that's the beauty of this board. This, imagine this as all, okay. This is the embodiment of your mind, all in its entirety, right? And every space that you see here that's occupied by a card is a perspective in your mind. Everything that goes on your mind comes out of these spots. That's what I'm trying to say. And when you put these things together, and when they don't allow the energy to pass. Now, let me talk about the energy. The energy comes from the crown, back to the root, and back up to the solar plexus and nests there, right? And goes to the heart chakra, and then yada yada, it comes back up. But if I, as a reader, read that energy through, I'm literally unblocking the channels. That's what this is designed for. And it's going to be good. So let's keep going. Moving on, we have the heart chakra, which is the Six of Pentacles, and this is not on suit either. So we can see what's happening. Everything is a little bit messed up. We're gonna get past this so we can just get to the description. Now, the Chariot card is a water card, and this is also off suit. So your solar plexus is blocked by water. How can you ever get anything started when you're too emotional to start it? Now, energy and motion has its benefits, right? Well, your emotions has its benefits, but emotions is energy and motion. So when you don't move on what you feel, you are holding that motion in you, and it is eating you from the inside. So when you allow yourself to move on what you feel, it brings the energy down to your desire, because this is your desire. Your desire is blocked by the war that you're having in your soul, right? This war, the Page of Swords, this war right here, the war that you're starting, almost like you're waiting for something to happen, but it's never gonna happen. It's almost like, if I know about Cancers, we're impressionable, right? We believe hard. So there are people that have been in my life that told me I'm gonna fail, and then I will go in the direction of failure, but something beautiful will come out of it. But I didn't know that until I got older. So those things still not haunt me, but I have to remember that they don't control me no more. So if that happens for you, then we in the same boat, and you know, you gotta work with it to get past it. Now, in order to create space in your life, it's almost like you have to dig out of a hole, like you're underground, like you can't breathe. Like there's so many things around you, there's only one path, and to go anywhere else, it's almost like you gotta dig it out, right? It's almost like you gotta carve out a new existence. You gotta carve out a new existence. So the things that are around you, even though they're plentiful and can help you, people are around for the scraps, and that's why you can't move, because they need you to do that thing that you're doing, right? Moving on from there, we have the Nine of Swords. This is also offsuit. Now, we're going to understand the trend. Everything is backwards, and we're going to see how to fix all of this right now. And that comes with the aura. But before then, we're going to get the Soph, which is Sophia, the space around you, or basically the space that occupies your aura, your kingdom, well, or basically your world. And that is the world of emanation, the world of creation, the world of manifestation, and the world of formation, right? That's the mind, body, soul, and spirit. Yeah. So the Nine of Swords, nines is all about the self. So selfish thoughts are blocking your emotions, blocking you from moving. So for some reason, Spirit is telling me that you're being selfish to believe in a certain way, because if you would only believe, or even try to believe in a different thing, or the thing that you've been, basically, Spirit's been knocking on your door, you don't want to open it because you don't want to believe it. Oh, yeah. There's a dream that you have, and this is the thing about big dreams that I realized. It is a sacrifice to believe it, because the idea that you won't achieve it is for me detrimental. Like, you telling me that I won't achieve the thing that I've been dreaming of for like years, I won't achieve it? Are you kidding me? Because all of these trials, every time I try to go after my thing, it just, there's a blockage. Are you kidding me? I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to fully commit. I don't want to fully believe in it, because if I did, the world would have me. But that's also a belief. That's selfish. God has you. God has your back. So you're supposed to understand that God, I could keep going, but you understand where I'm going with there. One of the messages was, if only they could see. Now, we are a people, Cancers are people who need to be understood. And if you did understand the Cancer, you're probably around them for your whole life. They'll never forget you. And anytime you run back into them, it'll be like, y'all never left. That's when you understand them. So, if you've understood Cancer, you'll understand why they're still around. You can't get rid of them because they're good people. Right? We're going to be here forever. So, just deal with it. Our ideology comes into play. What we believe is right for us, how we should operate in this world. It is unmatched, but the thing is, it's so awkward compared to everything else. It's always different than everybody else, because we feel the emotions like at the end of the life right now. Like, I wish I would have did this, but I feel it right now. Like, I know how my life is going to turn out if I don't do this thing, but I can't do this thing to not get it to that point. So it's a lot of mixed emotions that don't get you started. I hope I'm really clearing this out, because if you would have faith, you know, they say it's like a mustard seed, right? But what is it about faith? Faith is a belief. Belief in your dream, just a little bit. You'll see the way paid for you. Instead of you having to dig out the new space, God would just, the new space is there for you right now. You'll find a whole new cabin and you won't even have to dig no more. Now you can just settle, right? Oh, is that easy? Yeah. Oh, you got some sunlight too, because you got a hole on the top, make a sunroof. Like, just anything that you can imagine that would be better in that situation. It'll just be brought to you because you had the faith. A little mustard seed. Mustard seeds are really small. Like, I really want to watch how they grow, because I don't even believe it. Like, it's too small to believe, right? Yeah. So going on from there, you have the Eight of Cups, and this is also off suit. See, the crazy thing, let me put this down. I realize I just have to continue, because there's a lot to talk about, because there's a lot to manage. Everything is out of whack, but the only thing that is not is what you know. So all you gotta do before you really act on what you know, you need to make sure that your peace is not movable, shakeable. You need to find a place or find a rhythm of peace that is unshakable. Nobody can touch anything, and you grow from that new pattern that you build. All right. So the first one up was, well, not the first one, but the first one that was shown to me was, out of the world of creation, your spirit, your spiritual space, your energy, the people that can interflict with the spirit, the people that mess with your spirit, the people that take from you, your spirit, the people that drain you. You can drain somebody physically and spiritually and mentally, and you know, you could just take anything away from anybody. But your spiritual energy is the energy that gives you ability to move, and it gives you the ability to basically see, they don't want me to talk. Yeah. So let me start that over. Your spirit wants relief, so it's strained. Strained in which way? I just heard over flooded because it got a lot of backup. Now you have a lot of things that you want to create, a lot of spaces. Well, you need a lot of space. Well, let me put space differently. if you have a lot of contracts, what that means is, in this area right here is the area of contraction and expansion. Your will expands your soul and your spirit, your body, whatever you want to say, and your desire, you learn more about yourself, so you don't need everything that you actually just built, but the things that you keep, you multiply on, or it becomes more of you, and you transcend it, and you basically learn more about it, what you needed to, and then the next cycle over, you can do more, right? So that's the idea behind it. You don't take everything you build, but you take the things that really stick to you, you know, the things that helped you so much, right? Like the best things. The cream of the crop. Yeah. So that's what your spirit wants. Now, what about your soul? Your emanation. Basically, that voice that's in your head when you want to think of a math problem. 2 + 2 is, right? That thing that just said that, but without your words. That's where this voice comes from. This voice is, let me say it this way. That voice is indicated by this card. And it's saying that you definitely need a little bit of a healing. And what does that mean? Instead of fighting, heal. Put down your sword. Stop thinking so much and just work through it. You already thought of everything that you needed to do, so you just got to work through it now. There's no point of fighting anymore when you know the whole war. Some of the wars, they say you don't start the war without knowing that you'll win. If you don't know, I don't remember the exact quote, but you don't do that. Yeah. But that's in your soul. It needs to be healed in order to get rid of the mental baggage. So when it comes up to your mind, you already have the keys. So stop looking. You already been past it. You logged it. You saw it. You even used it a little bit of times. So what have you done that benefited you lately? Even if it was a little bit. But it was so easy to do. That's what it's giving to me right now, because you already had the key. It's not like you had to knock. You didn't have to wait. You just went and did it, and it benefited you, and you just went and sat down like nothing happened. It happened so quickly that it just passed your mind. Like, you know how you walk to a location so many times, and then you forget that, did I just look to cross that street? That happened to me too many times. Did I look left and right when I crossed the street? This is before the time of phones. So I ain't got no excuse, right? But you have the key, and that's the main point of that right now. It's something that you thought of already. So in the world of manifestation, not only do you need a little bit of more power, but the things that you are willing to believe that are for you are very powerful in your life. Powerful against these things that hold you back. Powerful against the words that people tell you. So anything that you create for yourself is giving you that new space, because people don't take your energy no more. So work on what you create. And creation is not always physical. Creations could be mental. Like I said, you can create a pattern in your mind. I'm going to do this, then this, then this, and this, and this. That's a creation. Create more. Like a spiritual creation. What is it? Like I said, meditation. You created more dance moves. Now you get more energy out and you feel good about it. Hey, I learned how to do this. Hey, I learned how to do more yoga, right? More, I don't know, tantric stuff. I think tantric is the word that came out for somebody. I don't know. But it's a practice. So let's move on from there. But that brings you power. Practice makes perfect. But the perfection is in yourself. We are selfish because we know what's for us, but ignorantly it don't come off right. You can be selfish beautifully. You can just say, you know what, I'm gonna just not do this with these people and just be by myself. I'm not gonna give them my time. That's selfishness too, right? That's not selfishness, but that's just taking your time. See, we don't know how to be rightfully selfish. But when we think about all the, not peer pressure, but we play a role when we go out with people. they need us for certain things in order for it to be done. Now, we're Cancers, right? We give out that good energy. We always have that good vibe. Whatever wave that's there, we've ridden it, and we're gonna ride it with y'all too. We like, okay, this is where to go. All right, cool. Now that we're done, I'm just gonna go back in my shell because I'm gonna just see where y'all at. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna just be over here now. But when the wave is there, we're out of our shell because we know how to serve. We know how to get through these emotions, these feelings. We know how to do it. It comes easy to us. But that's when we're free. Right? So what gives you that feeling of freedom? Alright, so what I'm going to do now is clarify some of these spaces. And what I mean by that is, as I said before, every one of the cards that are turned to the right, or this one too, I almost forgot. Basically everything. I'm going to deal a maximum of 5 cards because it could be 6 on each location, right? But I'm going to deal a maximum of 5 cards, and hopefully within those 5 cards we get the right element, the right energy. And when we do that, essentially I'm going to get that energy down to the root, and it offers you a chance to experiment with things, to express yourself correctly, to integrate whatever it is we learn from here into your life according to you. You know, I'm just a person that's giving advice, and to transcend what you know and give you the new space to do it, right? Because essentially I'm giving you armor and weaponry, mental weaponry that fights those demons. You know, spirit works through people, evil spirits works through people too. So now you have the equipment to get it done, and that equipment offers you a space for your kingdom. Now you can defend your space. So that's what we're here to do, right? Watch when that app comes out. It's gonna be ridiculous. So let me get these cards down. Hopefully I can get it down quick, but let's get it. Alright, so what just happened? Now, as you can see, there are a bunch of new cards here. It started off reversed, but I guess that was on purpose. We're going to just leave it because, you know, nothing is a mistake. So what this is telling me right now, when you can understand that there are more clarification cards on this side, the ego has a lot of work to do, and there's more pressure on the ego. So although the ego can have more power over the situation, should it be controlled, it can control basically your time. You'll be able to manage your time better, and managing your time better can afford you so many things. You know, time is the most precious resource past anything that you can even see. But yeah, so if you want to claim your time, understand that you have the key. So let's start off from the beginning, which is the 10 of Swords, 0. It goes from 0 to 9 back to 0, right? Plus the Oracle cards, the 4 Oracle cards, so it's 13 in total. Wait. 14. Yeah, 14. Had to make sure. Actually, before I get there, I want to talk about the space really quickly before we have the solutions that come up. So when it comes up to your world of emanation, what you basically imagine, how you basically give the ideas to things. What sparks you, right? There's the healer right here. So let's get it. You are a healer. Fear not your own ability to be a light worker or a way shower for others. Drawing this card can also symbolize that a healing in its highest form is available to you now. If you have pulled this card in regard to a relationship or a situation, please know that there is a more powerful exchange of energy here. Meditate when you are wanting to heal on the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual plane. So this is a healing in all factors. So that's what they want you to work on. Since you know, since you've worked on, since you thought about everything, just pick and choose what you want to work on. You got the keys to it because you've discerned it. You've judged it so many times. Other people's judged you because other people have a really good skill because they want to bring you down so much to judge you the best way, because they always, the only way to bring a Cancer down is to mess with who they are. Get them to not believe what they know who they are to be is. So when you shake that foundation, that's how you get to them. Because they want to, no, I'm not. That's not who I am. I'm this. And once you get them trying to defend themselves, it's over. So that's the thing. Win, but the thing is you won't win that battle because now we got to fight. So now you're going to get us into a place of either ignorance or justice, right? Okay, I'm going to tell you how it is, and I'm going to tell you how the war is going to go, and we're just going to handle it that way. You know I'm going to win right now. Or you're going to get it the other way, where it's a constant emotional battle. But why do y'all hate it so much? So, yeah. Let's get down to it. Healing. That's what we're here for. Healing. I just have to talk about it just how it is. Like the video. So that's with the soul, and now let's go to the spirit, because it goes from soul to spirit to mind to body, right? So the spiritual relief, it came out in the first, before even anything happened. So let's get it. The end of a suffering or hard times, a much needed relief or break in the energy, miracles, rescue, and reprieve. Meditate on this symbol when all seems too much. Feel it blast out the negative as you call in the strength to your heart. So, the negative. God told me about the negative when it come up to this board. You need negative in order to understand potential. Because there's potential and kinetic energy, right? And mechanical. And think of this way as the negative, and this way as the positive. But in order to have any negative, you need to go through things, experience things. Once you get enough experience, right? Experience points, right? Once you get to learn a certain amount of lessons, now you can use that energy, or there's a way, a line for you to actually bring it to the spiritual side for manifestation. So instead of just holding that negative in, you can use it and give it to your spirit, give it to God. You know how they say, give it to your spirit, right? What can your spirit do with it? Okay, I feel, this is where these emotions come from. I feel like I need to do a certain amount of things, to build a certain amount of things, to get things done, to make new patterns in order to get my time back and to live my life the way I want. That's the way this board works. So this relief is very important because it gets that done. It allows your spirit to run freely. Now imagine that. Next up is the key, the talisman, right? And this is in the world of formation. So basically, those experiences and those manifestations and what you can do with your body forms new patterns. But in order for you to see it, in order for you to judge a thing correctly, you gotta form it. Okay, once it takes a certain shape, you can put your energy in that shape. Run with me with it. And these shapes take form, these patterns in these shapes give you more abilities in your life. So let me put it this way. Let me read the key and get back to that. Talisman. The talisman represents new doors opening for you now. The new pathways are present at this time. It also invites you to find and create and change the appropriate and charge an appropriate symbol, amulet, or mantra to help you support your current endeavors or healing. So if you've been invited to like any place to find any type of healing, invited to a massage, invited to a dance, invited to meditate, invited to a study, maybe a lecture, a comedy thing, because that's all meditation. It depends on who you are. Maybe you like to laugh and that's your meditation, that frees you. So whatever makes you feel free is a form of meditation for me. But try to keep the worldly stuff out of it. Don't drink so much. Just get a little loose and enjoy it. You'll understand you'll get more benefit out of it because you didn't lose yourself, right? Try to capture yourself in the whole experience. Let me keep going. Empower this talisman with your intention to invoke its magic in your everyday life. Meditate with this card to act as a powerful road opener or a new adventure or opportunities to discover hidden talismans of power, love, and peace. You know how people have lucky socks? You probably have a whole bunch of lucky stuff and things that you have that mean certain things. So how about you relive it a little bit, but in a more mature way? Maybe your favorite shirt you threw up in, but it didn't have any stains on it, but you're able to wear it. And when you wear it, you're like, I remember, but now I'm cool enough to experience everything I went through. Just something crazy and stupid like that. Every time I wore these socks, I got that home run. These people are so superstitious, but these superstitions hold power because they make you believe. So that's why they do it. I believe this is going to happen. My energy is going to go towards it. And maybe God might align me with it. But you got to believe. You got to take the first step, right? So, going on to power. Let's see. Now, this is the physical world, the world of manifestation, right? Think of it as your temple. So your body is your temple, but the vessel is almost like what flows through it almost. It's weird the way it was explained to me. Understand this, right? You are powerful. You are worthy. You are sovereign. It is time to remember your worth. Drawing this card invites you to take your path in the starring role of your life. There is no need to play small here. You are being granted permission to display your strengths for all to see at this time. It does no service for you to hide your gifts. Drawing this card can also indicate that it is time for you to call your power back from any situation where it may have been taken or given away. Now, power is very important. You know, they say knowledge is power, right? Your knowledge was guarded and judged so many times, but the thing is, we are everlasting beings. We know we're going to get through it in the first place. So as you study yourself to show that self-approved. You know how they say, and next thing you know, they can't get you no more. So this is only scars. Now these scars take time to heal, but the thing, they will only ever be scars. You can't get, it's like double jeopardy. You can't get hurt by the same thing twice unless you allow it. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. Fool me 3 times, fuck the peace sign, blow the chopper under the rain. Come on, let's get it. Alright, cool. Alright. Cold world, but I don't even know where I was. Alright. So going to the Emperor, let's get it. It only took one card to clarify this Emperor right now. And that means anytime that you only see a little bit of cards here, that means that is not much work required to fix this energy. Although the Emperor is reversed, this is still a process that will heal you, to fix you. It might come in a different method. You might need to sit in a different place. God's going to turn your world upside down, but the thing is, you're not going to fall. You're going to sit in your throne. Your throne is opposite of what you believe, or opposite of what people made you believe. So, yeah. First, to start off with the Page of Swords. You were a page before, right? Fighting everything. Now, in order to go into your standing, your throne, your kingship, you had to sit down. And when you did that, you started to rise. You went up. You learned all the tricks of the enemy. Or you're learning the tricks of the enemy, and they have nothing to fight you with anymore. So even though it's not easy to sit down, you do. That's what that's giving me right now. But let's start off with the Page of Swords, right? So Page of Swords is curious, witty, chatty, communicative, inspired, vigilant, alert, and a mental angle, right? Mental agile. So instead of letting it flow, you are piecing out things that you think that it will work. But how could you know the true plan if you don't just let it all go? Now, the thing is, when you penny pinch on God, God has to go at your pace. Right? So if you allow yourself to go all in on some things, you'll give God the ability to block some things that you don't want to happen and allow only the things that God wants to happen. And even though that in our, you know, our world, it can shake it, right? But we always seem to land in the place that's okay. And that's God, you know, letting you know every time that you're going to be okay. You just got to go through this and learn a certain amount of things to understand your potential so you can give it to your spirit, so your spirit can manifest certain things. So the Emperor comes next, and what does it say? This is a major arcana, and the Emperor is the connection between that is Hokmah and the Tiferet, right? So your heart and your spiritual path, the path, basically I'm gonna get to it, but I might as well get to it after this card. The Emperor is all four kings combined, so it's elemental balance, and then on top of that, you put it in the right place. So you're giving your soul power over your life, over what you believe, what's right for you, what comes out of you. You're giving it light. So the Emperor reversed: tyrant, domineering, grid, stubborn, lacking, discipline, and reckless. Now, that's what it's going to seem. You're going to seem like you're doing some reckless things. You're going to seem that it is tyrannical. Like, you're going to seem that you're ordering people around. You're going to seem that after all of it, some of these things were so hurtful that you had to do to other people. But the thing is, in order to get what you want out of it, you have to understand that even though you empathize with it, that's not your job to deal with it. You know the lesson they're gonna have to go through, but it don't matter. You gotta get what you need to get done. So you gotta not be afraid to put people through the works too. They put you through the works all the time. So if you can't take the heat, stay out the kitchen, right? They was in the kitchen cooking for a long time, and that shit was disgusting. So now you got the chance to cook. It was so good that they put them to sleep, right? That's what it is. They got the itis, and you over here sitting, chilling, watching Netflix now. So, they gotta sleep with it. Now you got peace. Yeah. So, what does the spirit and the mind have to do with your will and desire when it comes up to what you want and what you need? I hope that made sense. So let me explain this side on the light side, right? What you want, your mind has to be able to process it and build the patterns necessary in order to get it. But in order to do those things, you have to have the facilities and the ambition and the I think it's called wherewithal to even want to do it, right? So that's your will. If you don't know a certain amount of things, it's not that you can move on it. You're just energy waiting for some kind of pattern, some kind of plan. There's no plan, there's no manifestation. So it's like, even though you want to fight the battle, you got no sword. So you just out there punching, but it's not gonna last long, right? So you don't do it. You don't fight. So where's your armor? Where's the things that will actually protect you? Where's the things that will keep you safe, you know? Yeah. So that was the Emperor. When it comes to your, that was what you want in your mind to get what you will. What you will, use your mind to get what you want. I said it backwards. So, in order to get what you desire, you need to understand your spirit to get the energy for it, the correct energy, the correct I should explain it this the opposite way. So you need the energy to do it, but you need to be spiritually ready to handle it. And in order to do that, to get what you desire, you need to be ready for some things, right? So I hope that makes sense. But let's get these two, which is the third eye, right? So let's start with what you want. You wanted the Seven of Swords, and then you ended off at the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Both of them was reversed, so let's get it. So lies, trickery, scheme, strategy, resourcefulness, sneaking, and cunning. You were not going to trick God. You were not going to trick yourself into believing that what you were going to do was going to work. You got to actually trust in what's for you, not the things that you create all the time. There's sometimes not everything is for you, even though you can do it. So you got to know what's for you, right? So even though you picked up a few things on the road, maybe it's time to put it down. But it was resourceful. It helped you along the way, right? But it was something, a mental baggage that held you down. Something that somebody did was very important towards you. So let's just say somebody gifted you with something that eventually ate at who you were. Give you a car that's so good and it changes your personality. You got a whole bunch of money, but it changes the way you live and you couldn't even manage it. And now you're in a worse position. There's so many things that are gifts that leave us in a worse place because we aren't ready for it, right? So what fixed it? Now this is a place of fire and earth. So the Knight of Pentacles came up. And what does it say? Even though it's reversed, it's something that's good that's happened. So, workaholic, lazy, dull, boring, no initiative, cheap, irresponsible, gambler, makes risky investments. It's just lackadaisical and not immature, but maybe immature with your decisions. Because you've been through this already. Why do you believe that doing the same thing will give you something different? You're so good at judging the situation, but why can't you do the right thing? Even though you know it's there. Why? Because of the emotions clouded. Remember I said we started off backwards. We started off using the emotions in the logical places and the logic in the emotional places. So you didn't have the right facilities, and even in your mind, you were mixed up. This is not how this is supposed to be. You had to learn the game. Now that you learned the game, you're doing some of the same things because it's still triggering you, right? That's even more frustrating. I know this already. Why am I not doing this now? I know this already. Yeah. So that's the Knight of Pentacles when it comes up to your light. That's the path. That's the direction you need to be heading. So when it comes up to your dark, which is the energy for your direction, right? The energy that gets you to there. What comes from you, right? We have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is a good card. Fortunate. How is that not good? This is basically expecting things to just appear out of thin air. And when it appears out of thin air, it would just heal everything. It's like, how could you believe that? Even you know that you need to be prepared for some of the things that you want. Can you maintain a house? Can you maintain some of these things that you dream about? Can you maintain it? So why would God give it to you only for you to lose it and then you feel worse afterwards? That's why you can't get it right now. Why would God give it to you? God don't want to disappoint you. That would be the ultimate disappointment in your life. And how could you ever get that back? You know, with all things is impossible. With all things, God is possible with God. Oh, God. Couldn't even get it right just now. All things are possible with God, right? But let's move on from there. And even though the Seven of Swords, people look at it like you're looking at the wrong things, this is a good thing, because even though you're looking at okay, I see what it's saying. You're taking chances on the things that you don't know about yourself. And even though it might not have what you're looking for, you crossing it out. Like, okay, even though it wasn't what I was looking for that would help me right now, I did learn something about myself that I can take with me the rest of my life. So it's like, you know how they say, you thought it was trash, but it was actually treasure. The things that you were finding, the reasons why you was going through that, you thought it was just trash. It was actually gold. What do you know now? How are you invincible now through that situation? Something can never happen to you again because you're aware now. What is it? That's something you can teach. The Seven of Swords, the Seven of Cups. So it went from the Wheel of Fortune on this side to the Seven of Cups. Choices, search for purpose, illusion, fantasy, daydreams, wishful thinking, indecision. So this is the side of fantasy, and this is the side of dream. Now, what does that mean? Your spirit knows why you came here and ultimately knows your dream. But when you come here and your mind gets in the way, you create a fantasy, and that fantasy kind of overrides the dream. But the thing is, the spirit knows the correct thing. So hopefully you're thinking in tune with spirit, what you think you need. Hopefully you moving step by step instead of just thinking that you owed what's at the end. Even though that might align with you as spirit. Okay, spirit says you're supposed to be a millionaire. Where's the $1 million? I don't see it. Now I don't believe you, spirit. Go over there. How? Alright. And we're from there to, let's go to the end of ether, Akasha, the throat chakra, whichever one you want to call it, right? To will and desire. It was both offsuit, but let's start off with will. It started with the Knight of Swords. And let's get that. So assertive, direct, impatient, intellectual, daring, focused, perfectionist, and ambitious. Now, perfection is a disaster. Perfection is the biggest wall you would never pass. You would never pass the wall of perfection. Get rid of it. Nothing is perfect. The only thing that was ever perfect was God before everything, right? So just get rid of it. There's no such thing as perfection. We are not perfect, right? We have to build to the perfection of what we know we can be according to where we are now. There is a goal. There is a world that you think you can live in. There is a way that you like to live that brings you the ultimate sense of peace. And that can be either in a fantasy or what you are here to do, right? That gives you peace. So, right? Let's move on from there. And we're from there to the Knight of Cups. Now, this is a mental thing, and this is an emotional thing in front of a place where you're supposed to use things and act on things. So mental energy and emotional energy is no movement. It's only energy towards something. You think about a lot, and then you find an answer. You find a plan. You find a thing that you can do, right? You're emotional about something, and that that makes you more willing to look for the answer, the cure, right? So that should be on this side, not this side. You don't need to be finding cures on this side of the wheel. So that's what's blocking you. There's something that needs to be fixed before you can move forward. And it was ended off by the Wheel of Fortune. What was blocking your spirit before, you decided to move that and switch perspectives, right? It's starting to make sense. So Knight of Cups, idealistic, charming, artistic, graceful, tactful, diplomatic, mediator, negotiator. Now these are all things that get you through situations. Now, idealistic because I have an ideology. Like I said, we are the heads of ideology. We need to be understood. We have the best clairvoyance. Should we ever practice it? Practice makes perfect. Even though you have a skill for it, you gotta practice it. So, yeah. These ideals lead us to our victory because it gives us the foundation. So, now, what about this card wasn't right for this? These are ideas still in a place where you need to use them. You need to have actually something to use. Instead of thinking that instead of having a sword, you thinking that you have a sword and you're running into battle, and you understanding that you're not winning and you don't know why, because you don't have the tools. You need the tools, but you have the ambition for it. So being fortunate, God's gonna bring you through some things, or He did, and we can go into bad situations in our fantasy leads us to believe that we're in bad situations, but our dream is unaffected because it leads us back to the alignment for our dream. So even though our fantasy can get crushed, and that's what puts us down, right? Our dream isn't, because we're always going to be aligned with that should you actually go for it. So being fortunate, here's what it says. So change, cycles, fate, decisive moments, luck, fortune, and unexpected events. Now, if you have judged and seen everything that the enemy can throw at you, of course the enemy got more, but God got more than that. So let's just say hitting you with a ticket that lets you know that you got 3 checks in the mail, but you had to be summoned to the court for it. Oh, by the way, we have these 3 checks. It was in your system. We never gave it to you. It was there for 4 years. Like some random. I was so mad that I had to go to court, but then I found some money in court, and now I'm in a better position. That was so unfortunate, so unexpected, but now I'm in a better position. How was that? Okay. I went outside, got them $3. I used them $3. I didn't even need no money. Right? Fortunate. Random. Alright. So that's in your will, and that ends off the will, so now it's complete. I realize I haven't been doing it, but this is clearly I will, and this is I desire, right? So I desire the 7 of Wands. Let's get it. So protectiveness, standing up for yourself, defending yourself, protecting territory. Now, why is that bad here? Now, territory, you should own this already. This is yours. It's not something you have to defend. Nobody can actually get to it unless you allow them. So understand that that's your kingdom, that's your temple. Nobody can actually do anything unless you allow it. So you're allowing people to believe that you need to fight in a certain way or to live a certain way that's not even for you. So you're misguided to live in a certain way that's not even for you. That's why it's hard to keep up. Right? If you can't keep it up, it's not for you. That's crazy. That's crazy. Alright? Yeah, I went from there to the strength card. Now, strength card is a good card. Major Arcana. Now, why is it terrible here? It don't make no sense. Just strength. This is force. It's not strength. That's what I just got. This is force. Trying to force your desires on some other people. Now, that won't work because an agreement is like a positive and a negative attracting each other, right? Opposites attract, right? So when you try to force something, you're presenting the opposite energy of cooperation. So it's already just not going to happen just by nature. Eventually it will stop happening because of nature. So if it's not for you or for them, you can't force it. So you gotta give up some things. You gotta be willing to give up. And you did by understanding what was right, what was just, right? What was for you, what was truly for you, what you would fight for, and what you would let pass, what you would allow in your life, and what you wouldn't. The justice of it all is achieving that new space. Now the funny thing is, oh man, so the justice card is the connection from Tiferet to your Gebudah, which is your desire, right? Your heart's desire. Now the justice card came up here. So you desire the beautiful things and you have the right energy for it. You are, let's see. Justice, karma, consequence, accountability, law, truth, honesty, integrity, And cause and effect. See, this is the center of cause and effect, right? And it wasn't that much work to do. We're going to get to it, but cause and effect is I do this. I just got cause and effect is I'm energetically feeling this way, so I move and transmute this energy in a certain direction. It's affecting me to move an energy in a certain direction. Not just an action, but it's an energetic transmutation. Alright. Moving on from there, we're going to go to the heart, which is ended off by the magician, which is the air card. So that's good to end off at the heart chakra, the air chakra, right? So we started off with the Six of Pentacles. Now, Pentacles is opposite of air, so obviously something that you forced into your life or was forced into your life, I hope you understand that both ways, is only benefiting you like pennies to the dollar. But for other people, it's making them feel so good. Or for other, let me say, entities. Like, I heard that these entities feed on us. So when we feeling down, there's something sucking that energy of being down away from us. Like, this is good food. I found that out. I was like, oh, hell no. Anytime I catch myself feeling down, I'm like, y'all not gonna get my energy, because that energy is leaking out of you. These are ports where these energies leak, and I won't allow it no more. I do my best to get rid of that energy. Nope, God got my back, so I'm not gonna allow it. So Six of Pentacles, generosity, charity, community, material help, support, sharing, giving, and receiving, gratitude. The Six of Pentacles represents financial harmony, charity, and generosity. Now, why is this wrong to be here? Generosity, generous with your space and time, causes blockages. It reduces your ability to move with yourself because you're doing and holding space for other people. That's what that is. You're holding space for other people and other things, and it's causing you to have to maneuver like a maze throughout your own life. Get rid of some of these blockages. Remember I said you was digging out new space. Get rid of some of these blockages and you'll find your new space to settle. You'll find your new land, right? You'll find out that you already had the space, but people were holding you back. Alright, so it went from there to the magician. Now, magician obviously making magic, something appearing out of thin air, making it happen all of a sudden. That's that kind of energy that's giving me right now. But it's also manipulative, so let's see. But I did say transmutation, and the fact that a magician is here, that's like the best person to do it, right? Best person to transmute is a magician. So willpower, understand that will is right here. So willpower, desire, resourcefulness, skill, ability, concentration, and manifestation. The magician is the representation of pure willpower, the willpower of the elements in a suit. He takes the potential innate in the fool and molds it into being with the power of desire. See, I knew I read that right, but it was completely phased wrong, but I got it. So that energy that you have where you feel like, okay, I'm gonna just do this, the magician in you will spark up and say, you know what, instead of me just doing this, now I have an idea. Now that I'm out here, I have an idea with this. I'm gonna do this with this now. I'm gonna do this with this now. And it's almost like an unstoppable will force, because you have a person, well, a thought, a power in you now, or at least this is where you need to be, or you want to be able to form things in order to move quickly, form new spaces, create new things. And this is the area of beauty. So the fact that the magician is here, just go after what you find beautiful, even if it's something little. Because I realize, remember these talismans right here, they fuel you okay, I was able to do this little thing, so that maybe I'm able to do something a little more greater the next time. And the next time, something a little bit more greater. The next time, greater than that. Next time, greater than that. All of a sudden, you'll have so many things that fuel you just by looking at it. Like, oh, I completed this, I did this, I did this, I did that. And because I did that, whatever anybody says around me, I have proof that I can make it. So those words don't hurt me no more, right? The proof is in the pudding. In the pudding, you just swim in it. Right? Yeah. So, going from there, it was a little bit more work than everything else, but just 2 cards. Trust me, I had readings that was like 6 cards and didn't even stop, right? But it started off with the Chariot. The Chariot is a water card, and this is Cancer card, right? This is you. Now, you are in your own way. Literally, you are in your own way. That's what that is. That's literally what that is. And you think that you're sitting where you should be, but you're in your own way. Let me just get it. Watch. Success, ambition, determination, willpower, control, self-discipline, and focus. Now, this is the spirit doing this. Now, here's where you think you got it under control. When this is the side of the spirit, this is the side of the ego, right? The ego is supposed to have control over this space. Now, if you're a spirit, you're too emotional in something, you won't achieve it correctly. So let's just say if you want to shoot a basketball and you use all the power in your body to shoot it, you're not going to make the basket. It's going to go out the park, right? It's just going to go out the park. It's just going to be up in the nosebleeds, right? That's all your strength. You got to understand that that's emotions, right? Calm it down. Use a little, right? It takes energy to do it, even though you know it, but it doesn't require you to use that much. So even though you know what's right for you, calm it down and understand. Maybe try to figure out ways to express yourself in a less energetic way, because that's the key. If they don't get the energy out of you, it's nothing for them. They'll just leave. They hungry, right? Yeah. And went from there to the 6 of Swords. Now, this also isn't right. Now, it was water before, and now it's air. So things are heating up. That's what that gave me, right? Things are heating up. Things are becoming more dire. And you understand that this boat is going to lead you to a new place. But if you got rid of your burdens, no. You're taking your beliefs with you to this new place. And if you got rid of them in your mind, what you believe, you would sink. But the thing is, you don't know that God got it covered, right? Even though it's holes in the bottom of the boat, wouldn't you think you still float for a little bit more? You still have some time. But it's always up to God. You could be in waters that don't even you could be in shallow waters, you're not even that in so much danger, you never know. But so it says moving on, departure, leaving something behind, distance, and accepting lessons. Oh, that's what it was. Oh, this is if you don't choose to take your lessons with you, you'll sink. That's what that is. These lessons fill up the gaps in your life vessel, your boat, your way of doing. You've learned a certain way to move. And should you take these ways to move with you, not only will you stay afloat, but it seems like everybody else that you are going to sink. So nobody's going to believe you in this venture. But they don't know that you needed to have that space away from them. You needed to have them not going at what you're trying to do the whole time. You needed them to be on the other side of the creation story. They needed to be on the manifestation side of it. They needed to see it like, oh, this is here. Now I can't go against you. That's the thing. sometimes people need to see, but you can see it before anybody else because you have clairvoyance, right? And it ended off with the 9 of Wands. Obviously, what was it? It went from 7 of Wands over here in your desire, and now you have the 9 of Wands over here. Let me see. Oh, that's what it was. The 9 of Swords and the 9 of Wands. Okay. The last stance, persistence, grit, resilience, perseverance, near success, and fatigue. So, the fact that you are acting on it means that you're going to have it. You got it. Because God is not going to leave you in a place where you're going to just be floating and drifting in the middle of the sea. In this instance, right? You're not going to be left stranded. You're going to get to a place where you can actually sit and look at what you've done and move on from there and use it. You're going to be, it says the 9 of Wands represents boundaries, resilience, and courage. The asker, you, may be feeling worn down by life's tribulations or as though they cannot touch or catch a break, I mean. So, it's going to be a lot of pressure to start up the new patterns to get what you need, but you already know that. And the fact that you know it is almost like if you have to do 40 push-ups, right? And you're thinking about the 40 the whole time, you're probably not going to do 40 because you already thought that you're not going to do it for so long. Instead of just going for as long as you can, and maybe you'll reach 40. Sometimes not even having a number in there allows you to go past your mark. So your mind is in the way a lot more than you think. Alright, moving on from here, we started with the 9 of Swords. This is your side. Okay. This was the area of I love, right? And this is the area of beauty. So your love is brought by the magic you bring to your own life. And this is the place of I act. And understand that there's a war in your spirit, and you're acting upon it, taking your lessons, and the lessons leaving you in a place where you know you have a lot of work to do, but it's worth it because you're leaving off of the place. He's not at war anymore. He's not at war anymore. He's sitting there looking at things after the war, right? So it just requires a little bit of work. And yeah. So the 9 of Swords is on the place of I feel, you know, that's where we shine. I feel. Yeah. Anytime that you feel, that's something. Spirit is non-corporeal. And that means that spirit doesn't have a body, right? We are corporeal beings. We are inside something. Spirit is like going through everything. Think of it as the electricity going through things. And no. Let me not put it that way, because it gets complicated. Right. The way we feel spirit is by feeling our emotions out. Because let's just say that there's something to see, and the spirit made you feel happy when you looked at it and sad when you didn't look at it. That's a clear marker, right? So imagine that's how you understand spirit. You're just looking for hot, cold. Let me not go this way. Let me go this way. You might not get it at the first try. You might get a little bit off, but you're still going in the right direction. But that's when you start learning spirit. Next thing you know, it won't just be hot. Next thing you know, it'll be like words. Hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do that. You'll start to understand spirit more, and you'll understand the instruction more. And instead of being in a 9 of Swords energy, being in a state of despair, you'll have the Page of Cups looking at something. Hold on, let me get it. I got it. I got the story. 9 of Swords. Fear, anxiety, negativity, breaking point, despair. I literally just said it. Nightmares, isolation, right? Being isolated, like I said before, is not such a bad thing, because now you have the space to occupy at least your own mind. Nobody can hurt you, right? You can only hurt yourself. so you can actually identify where you're hurting yourself. You don't want the one to blame. And that's what the space gives you opportunity to do. Alright? Isolation, I mean, gives you opportunity to do that. And what did that bring forth? The Page of Cups. Idealism. You know, this is our ideology. What we believe that we're here for. What we believe about ourselves. Idealism, sensitivity, dreams, naivety, innocence, inner child, and head in the clouds. So, see, when your head is in the clouds, it seems like you're at peace. And maybe you are. Because you're not thinking about the stresses down. Like, I'm just going to look up. You know how a Taurus looks in in the city that you work? When you see the Taurus come and just coming over there, not having no cares and just looking up, and you gotta go to work, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and they're just happy to see everything that you've been passing your whole life. Like, what is so special about this place now, right? But head in the clouds. I don't know. It leaves me a little bit angry. I don't know. It's just like, you're having so much fun in the place. I gotta go to work, and this is where I live, and it sucks here. You know, all the emotions about it. But having your head in the clouds gives you a certain kind of peace. They don't care. They don't care. They don't even know what you're saying. They know nothing about the culture. They just see it, and they're taking pictures, and they're going through it, right? They only came here for an experience. So understand that we came to this world for an experience. And God knows the best experience you can have here. So would you trust Spirit to relay that message? Or would you go with ego and only go for your fantasy? We're not perfect, so it's not going to leave you in the right place. So last but not least, before we get to the next part, it's called the Starstream, but last but not least, we have Malkut, which is the earth energy, right? Started off with the 8 of Cups, then we had the 6 of Cups, then we had the 8 of Swords, then we had the Death card, and then we ended off with the 4 of Cups. 4 of Pentacles, right? So that ended off everything. It took a while, so that means that there's a lot of things that you fear. This is the area of fear, but this is the place of I am. So I am at fear is at play right now. So understand that anything that you say that I am is what you believe. So your beliefs are shaken completely. Were shaken. But now we have the thing that's going to clear it all. So let's get to it. So this is emotional, in a place where you need some kind of mana to use. So think of some kind of manifestation, an actual physical thing to use, but this is just water. So if you're trying to cook and you just add more water to the pot, what are you cooking? You need some things to cook, right? So this is nothing more than something that's going to give you more air, more steam, right? It's nothing to work with, and there's no nutrients in that. So abandonment, walking away, letting go, searching for the truth, leaving something behind. Also, it's the second time you gotta leave something behind. You gotta leave a lot of things behind, because that's not the first time. It's the second time, when on the solar plexus and the root chakra. Leaving something behind or letting something go, or moving on, in a sense, will unlock your will. Because you let go, now you can move. It's kind of simple hearing it, but when you hear it in certain ways, it kind of like just makes sense. So hopefully that helped you. So it went from the 8 of Cups to the 6 of Cups. Now that's a little bit less emotional, but still emotional and nothing to use. But let's see it. Nostalgia, memories, familiarity, healing, comfort, sentimentality, and pleasure. Now, these are all emotional things. There's nothing to use, clearly, right? But you had to understand that where you came from sometimes. I told you earlier in this reading that it's like an ebb and flow and being in the best of areas in your life and the worst of areas in life. There's an ebb and flow. Sometimes it doesn't have to be the worst. It's how you perceive it, right? So familiarity gave you the basically like an energy boost, an energetic boost. When you thought about where you came from, you know what, I can make it. I made it here, and I went through some things, but I used to be good. Now I can get back. You believe that you can get back because you were there already. You have a memory, right? Going through memory lane gave you the motivation to want to get back there. It's not always bad. So went from there to the 8 of Swords. Now this is a mental thing. Can you cook it? Can you cook air? No. It's just more air to the pot, releasing the heat, right? So not only is your solar plexus at odds here, you're unable to move, and it's clearly shown right here. So the cards are kind of speaking perfectly. So trapped, restricted, victimized, paralyzed, helpless, powerless, and imprisoned. So instead of being emotional, you started being mental with it, and you started to realize that you were trapped. But the thing about realizing it, you're uncovering it. Once you put your mind to something, just give it a little time. You'll have a clue. You'll have an answer, because it's just who we are. We want to be free, and that way to be free would just pop up out of nowhere, because it's just our birthright, right? So moving on from there, we have the Death card. Now I like to call this card the Undead Warrior. Why? Because it's a skeleton. Skeleton can't be cut. It can only be broken, right? But the thing is, this is a mental foundation. Not the mental foundation. No, it's an emotional foundation. Everything is on the inside of the bones, the griddle. Like the inside of the bones has the marrow and everything that the body needs. So when your foundation, not like it's out of whack. It's like when somebody tries to hurt you now, you'll be a brick wall. And only when they're trying to love you and support you will they ever get through the door. That's just it. That's where it is right now. That's what that's giving me. So when you learn to do that, you'll be able to keep your peace. And you came up to the 4 of Pentacles. And what did that say? So, possessiveness, insecurity, hoarding, stinginess. Remember this selfishness that we were talking about before? Let me read it again. Possessiveness, insecurity, hoarding, stinginess, stability, security, savings, materialism, wealth, frugality, boundaries, guardedness, right? See, almost didn't even want me to speak it. The 4 of Pentacles represents our financial mindset. This card tells the asker to review their relationship with the money. Do they possess a mindset of scarcity and fear of not having enough? So, why is this a beautiful thing? Because you understand time, and with time comes like your ability to do things. There's not a lot of time. We know that life passes. We know we get older, and there's a certain amount of things that we wanted to do in our life while we were young. So you don't have all of your life to be dealing with this bullshit, right? So we got to get past most of it in order to even live a little bit. So when you started to be more selfish with what you create for yourself, instead of giving it away freely to other people, giving your time away, giving your patience away, alright, you can give your time, your energy, your manifestations, and your ideas, your soul, your body, right? That's what you can give away to people. That's what people need from you. So being able to hold it, even though it sounds selfish, it's a beautiful thing, because this is what you need to grow. So was it selfish in the first place? It's your birthright, because this is something that people needed to let go of you. Not just you let go of people. You had to stop allowing them in your presence. And when you did that, even though it's scary, you think you get something from somebody too. That fantasy or that dream, right? There was a dream behind that person, and there was a fantasy behind that person. But when it's a dream behind that person, it won't be behind that person. This is your dream, and that person is just a piece of it. And when you acknowledge that they're just a piece of it, you understand that there's so many pieces. There's so many people around to fulfill these ideas and these things like that. There's so many ideas that you can go around getting past something. It's like they don't have the control that they used to. And it only brings you a sense of freedom. Yeah. Alright, let me clear this up real quick so I can move on. Alright, so here's where we get more practical. It's called the Starstream. It's the mechanical things. It's the mechanical side of things. So how can we use our manifestations? How can we use our vessel to get our dream here? How can we use our vessel to fix some of these things in our life? What did you come here for? And what can you do about it? Right? So that's what this Starstream is about. It goes from the root, which is the expression. The root, which is the experimentation, sorry. And then the sacred, which is the expression. Then the solar plexus, which is the integration. And lastly, it is transcendence, which is the heart chakra. So following these 4 steps over and over and over and over and over again with the knowledge that you know gives you a certain amount of experience, and then gives you that sense of like, okay, I lived and I did this thing, right? But you go through this to master yourself. So this part right here is about mastering yourself also. So let me get the cards, the oracle cards, to clear it up. Because essentially, everything is unblocked right now. And now the spirit can enter your life. Turn this upside down. Knowledge. 10 of Swords. So that's in your area of experimentation. This is not even anything to say. Experiment with what you know. Like, you've learned a certain amount of things. Now you have material for a plan. Experiment with that. You have material for an idea. Experiment with that. You have ideas for a new invention. Experiment with that. Act on some of the things that you learned. Knowledge is power, but if you don't use what you know, you have no power. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, but I think you get it now. So, ooh, letting go, death. And this is the expression of the death. It might not mean letting go, but that's what I got from it. Karmic path in your integration. Now, karma, what does that have to do with your dream? If your dream is what you came here for, and your karma just kind of sets you back in the right path, gives you back the energy you gave out to the world. So if you gave out to the world the things that you were supposed to, it's also going to bring you into what you need, into alignment also. That's integration. Do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. A path of fairness. And grounded in the area of transcendence. So, let's start off with knowledge, with experimentation, and let's get it. Remain teachable. There's a new wisdom available to you at this time. This card can signify getting more information before proceeding. It can also signify the presence of an important teacher. Or perhaps you are the teacher, and this is the time for you to share your knowledge and gifts with the world around you. Drawing this card can also indicate that a message from your Akashic records, that there is a message from your Akashic records. Seek out more information about the records, or even perhaps learn how to access your own records for more clarity regarding your query. Alright, so everything is discovered because everything that ever will be is already in existence in God's mind, right? So everything is always only discovered, and what we discover is a gift from God, right? So with the Akashic path, and the Akashic, well, I said Akashic path, but with the Akashic records, you go through those doors by meditating on yourself and coming back. Oh, now I have an idea, a download. You go to that download space through meditation. I don't know why I had to say that, but I guess that was what I needed to say. So, whichever way you use to meditate, whether it be dancing or sitting down, silence, whichever way, go towards that, because you'll get ideas. You'll allow the energy to pass. You'll allow energy to flow. Right? So, next up is the death card on expression. I said that people need to let things go, but how does that translate? Noticeable, end of a cycle or situation, grieving or mourning. That's funny that this is the area of, this is the area of grief, your heart. This is the area of fear, shame. No, this is the area of guilt, right? So grief and guilt is coming up right now. Grieving or mourning a loss in order to heal. It is time to watch the old way leave itself in the past. Allow feelings of grief or sadness to move through you with ease. Meditate on this when you want to honor an ending or a loss, or letting go in your life with grace. Without death, there is no life, and vice versa. So in order for you to live, you need to let things go. In order to let things go is saying that you need to meditate, and we already know what meditation is, so let's move on. Karmic path. So for your integration, we have karmic path, and that is a karmic lesson, learning experience, hard work, perseverance, and structure. A new and valuable lesson is available to you at this time. This moment requires your due diligence. Pay attention to what is being presented to you. Have you been down this road before, or souls have come to this earth? Our souls have come to this earth school to learn valuable lessons. Let me say that again. Our souls come to this earth school to learn valuable lessons. What are you being taught right now? This moment may require hard work, but will it, remember the hard work? The 9 of Wands, the hard work, but may have many long-lasting rewards. You are not being punished, but you are gaining tools. Like I said before, your power. You are gaining tools. Let me find it again. And experience for living that will be with you for the rest of your life. So you are not being punished, but are gaining tools and experience for living that will be with you for the rest of your life. Drawing this card also tells you that the foundation of what you are building is strong and is part of your legacy. Legacy is a strong word. Always like the word legacy, because that's your mark. That's the only thing that will stay. And you can't take your legacy with you. Your legacy lives on, right? You can't take the money with you either. So what are you going to do with the things around you before you go? What is like the ultimate beautiful thing that you can do to this earth that you think God brought you here for? That's kind of where your dream is. Because why would you not be fit to do what's right for you and be at peace with it and be fulfilling all your goals and things like that, and having everything you think you need and you want? It's all aligned with your dream. So never give your dream up. And last but not least is grounded, and this is on the area of transcendence. So transcending is basically getting to the next level, right? Once you learn these things, now that you learned it, it becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of your manifestations. Now your manifestations are better because you learned something new about yourself, and it's tried and experimented on. So you understand where this is going. So being grounded in your transcendence, right? Bringing those things down to a point where it says, okay, now I don't need to be so, if I let go, I won't drift off. I can just anchor myself in the water, right? That's what it's giving me right now. So, grounded. Have you been feeling spacey, confused, or unable to focus? Drawing this card means your energy is scattered, or you're not fully connected to your body. Time to reconnect with your physical body and its connection to the earth. Meditation all this meditation, you're gonna be dancing a lot. So get your dancing shoes ready. But being outdoors, movement, and root vegetables can all help you feel more grounded. So what is it about being grounded that is so important? Being grounded gives you access to your temple. So if you are afraid, you can't move. Since you're not afraid, you can move your body. But did you feel out your spirit and what you think you're here to do, right? Do you know what you're here to do? Did you feel that out yet? No? So you're only doing things that you think you need to do. And that's a part of the fantasy, right? But once you understand the spirit, you'll understand the dream. Once you understand the dream, this is telling me that your karmic path is here, right? But this is your integration. Once you integrate what your spirit has for you, and this is the hangman energy, right? Once you understand the other side of things, right? What's been for you this whole time, you get to your solar plexus, and that's your integration. Now that's a part of you. Now you gain a little rhythm, and people sometimes when you gain a rhythm, you dance, people can't touch you. You got the stage, and this stage is your life, right? So I hope this analogy is coming in handy. So when it reaches transcendence, now that you know how to get your stage, you can automatically call it up, and that brings you new ways to operate in your life. I know how to get a stage, so I'll do this. You know, that's just one area of meditation. I said it was dancing, right? But that's just one area. What is it for you? And what brings you that grounded feeling? So we're at the end of this reading, and I hope you had a change of perspective, because that's what I'm after. If I can allow you or help you to see things differently, you will do things with your own life as you see fit. I don't need to tell you what to do, right? But hopefully you're able to see the things that you weren't before. Hopefully that, yeah, I'm talking about hope, but I have faith that you did get what you needed. And hope comes in handy, but I have faith that you did. So with all that said and done, like the video, share with your favorite reader. I'm KyFy. Peace.